Okay, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at a Vanguard versus Infernal matchup, and we're going to be on Boneyard. So starting out, we're going to be doing the same as normal, and just setting up the camera hotkeys, sending the dog across the map. And since I'm still a little bit behind, I'm still a few patches behind, I'm just going to be opening command post first, because this was the best play at the time. We're rapidly approaching the current patch. I'm cutting out quite a few of the games from along the journey that were not that interesting, or more buzzsaw rushes on Celestial, that sort of thing. But as it is, we're going to be taking a look at this one because it has some good things to take note of. So I'm going to go in, poke the Hexen. He's got his Hexen at home. He's not actually moving out with it. That's a good sign for me. Typically means they're not great at the game. Honestly, good Hexen or good Infernal players move their Hexen across the map. They try and harass with it, that sort of thing. And they try and steal the health plants and all that sort of stuff. Just keeping it at home, you know, it indicates around a diamond level player or below, which is where we're at in the series right now, so it makes sense. What isn't indicated is a bronze level play, which is losing your dog to the Hexen. And that's where I'm at, evidently, because I, again, lost the dog to the Hexen. I think that happened in one of my previous videos that I just uploaded not too long ago either. You can see I'm not very happy about it either. The reason being, still, Skull was still bugged. I know I've used that excuse a few times, but it really was bugged. It did an absurd amount of damage, 50 damage. So my dog was at around half HP and he just got one shot. Not a big deal, but in cases that you do end up losing your dog, you're probably going to want to end up making another one. You can't be left out with no information for a very long time. So it's never a bad idea if you lose it very early on to make another one. Back at home, I'm just going to be macroing. I'm going to be starting out with a defensive Lancer, and I've got a decent amount of information before the dog dies, which was he's expanding, and I didn't see any production structures right away. I'm going to be transferring that 5 to Therium that we normally talk about, and with not much to do, I'm just going to be kind of sitting at home. I'm going to tech up into my biolab here, and I'm still just continuing to make workers. Workers are the most important thing, and something you always should be having in production while you're not full saturation. He's going to send the Fiend in, just take a little scout, and then head back. It was suggested to me that I begin a coaching series, some type of series in which I talk to other players and assist them with their play, whether that be live games or replays. I'm a little unsure on, but I think I'll be giving that a shot. And so if you are interested, if you are a Vanguard player and you're interested in potentially participating in that and having me give you a hand and you're totally fine with being on YouTube, then you can feel free to leave a comment and let me know. Kind of like I mentioned here, getting back to the game, if you lose the dog early, it's never a bad idea to remake it and go scout again. And so that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to make some defensive Lancers, I'm going to be making the dog again, and sending it across the map. I'm looking for a third base, and I'm looking for how many production structures he has. If he's got a lot of production structures, he's going aggressive. If he's got another base or a lot of imps that I'm seeing, it means probably he's pretty heavy on eco, and I'm just trying to gauge the army and where I'm at. He's got quite a few units here, but I know by the time he makes it across the map, I'll probably be fine. I'm going to check for a third. I'm just going to kind of run that dog away. But I am going to be adding my second and third barracks. Remember, we always want to be adding those once we get pretty adequate saturation. And just going to be taking a look around here, trying to find the army again to see if he's moving across the map, and kind of taking notes as to where that is. It's very important to know where the army is. So that looks to be about half his army. That's probably not his full army. And so just back at home, continue exo production because I know I'm not in any imminent danger here. My quick draw hustle is going to complete, and just going to be adding some more workers, all that sort of stuff, avoiding the supply block. I believe I was tabbed out and doing some messaging while I was playing here, so if you see me freezing like that, that's the reason why.
Construction
There's not too much to comment on right now. Just kind of gathering up my army. I'm going to go poke the dog back in again. I notice his shrine placement's like really weird. That's inadequate mining time. And I noticed he watched the video about the video that said you're using these totems wrong, and talked about how those totems remain permanent. That is the incorrect way to use it. If you are an Infernal player, with all respect to the YouTuber who made that, do not waste your animus on those totems and trying to extend the shard like that. That is a waste. You want to use it in other metrics, which is either the reset to get more production or using it temporarily off the field while taking a fight. Placing them down like that, you know, that's 15 per, I think it's 15. It doesn't really help you a lot of the time. So I'm going to be moving across the map here now that I've got a pretty good army. I'm going up to my tier 2. Anytime you're moving out, make sure you've got tier 2, because most of the time it's very important for your fight. And while I'm moving out, I'm going to be taking my third base. Remember, I always mention, while you're on the offense, you can be expanding back at home and macroing up on that side. So taking the fight here, you might notice I'm severely outnumbered, but I'm not super worried. All I'm doing is thinning down the numbers here. I'm going to get caught on the trees a little here, so my X's are going to be up front a little bit, and one of them is going to die, but that's not a huge deal. And I'm just going to kind of be trading out as much of my army as possible for his. I'm going to promote the Lancer there, and that's because I only have one left. And I'm also going to give him the shield. Without the Lancer, I have nothing but the Exos there. And Exos alone are not great. They can't tank all that much and all that sort of stuff. So again, I'm going to promote the Lancer just so that he can tank a bit more. Back at home, I'm macroing. I'm going to be adding my 4th and 5th barracks along with my 3rd base. Remember, you only get your 4th and 5th barracks once you've got your 3rd base. Now my final Lancer is dead, but his army is pretty thinned out, so I'm just going to be trying to focus down some gaunts, and I'm going to be doing some kiting. And once I notice I might be outnumbered, I'm always on the retreat. He does not have Reaper Rush yet, so he's not able to actually catch my Exos, but I do have to be very careful with what I'm up to. You can see my worker count's pretty solid here, and I noticed some workers moving around last time when I was attacking, so I'm going to go over here. And I'm going to slaughter all these innocent imps. And I'm going to move up to the high ground with a single guy, and that's the spot. If he came from the high ground there, I wouldn't have been able to see if I didn't have someone on the high ground. I'm going to shoot down the skull. Always shoot down those skulls. They do good damage. Even in the new patch where it's fixed and not doing 50 damage, always shoot them down. And at this point, I've got very highly promoted Exos. He knows it. And I've kind of shaved off too much of his army and his 3rd base, so he's going to have to tap out. And that's going to bring us from 703 to 723. Okay, and welcome back to Game 2. For Game 2, we're going to be looking at a Vanguard Mirror matchup. And we're going to be on Isle of Dread. Isle of Dread, there's a lot of attack points to get into the various bases, especially if you're expanding. The amount of attack paths increases significantly. I'm going to be trying to play hedgehogs. Albino, he likes to play dogs, and so I probably know I'm going to be up against dogs here, but for me personally, I'm going to be trying to go hedgehogs and win the matchup that way. So I'm going to be starting out by putting 2 on Therium right away. When I'm playing hedgehogs, you need a lot of Therium, especially to get that mech bay down early. And so I'm going to begin my barracks, and I'm going to be sending that 3rd worker over to Therium as well. My dog is going to be playing defensive. I don't really need to know what he's doing because it's not going to change my opener. And so I'm just keeping it at home to avoid the harassment and all that sort of stuff. And I'm just going to be attacking his dog. And the first one to move to the health plant is probably going to win here, but I'm just seeing if he's going to, if he's like not paying attention or anything like that. He is going to run to the health plant. I'm going to run around the other side and see if I can't race him to it. I'm going to be throwing down my mech bay, and I actually overshoot where the plant is, but I don't know where his dog went, but he was not going for it. Maybe he was going for a different one. So I'm going to take a look around to make sure, you know, that his dog isn't actually there. I'm going to be salvaging my barracks and putting down my depot. The reason we salvage the barracks, the Bob's going to get stuck there. Look how helpful he is. That's definitely not treason. Definitely shouldn't be executed for that. The reason I'm salvaging my barracks is to get some additional Luminite so I can make my hedgehogs right away. And it's not something I need right away. I don't need the barracks. I'm not going to be making anything out of it. And I don't need my tier 2 for a little bit here. His dog's going to come back in. I'm just going to kind of push it away. And I'm going to send my dog across the map, and my first hedgehog's producing. And I'm going to be seeing he's actually got an expansion right away. In my head, I was thinking this is really good for me, because an expansion first versus hedgehogs typically means he doesn't have very many units that can deal with that. And so right away, I'm going to be moving across the map, and I kind of decided to pull the trigger and all in him. My dog's going to get caught here, and you can see, like, I don't know what it's stuck up against. I feel like he should have been able to slide out there, but he didn't. So I'm going to lose the dog, but that's not a big deal. I'm going to be pulling 3 bobs to build a sentry post, and my goal is not to end the game, but it's just to get that second base, just to kill it. He's going to have a dog going across the map here, and I am going to be able to catch this and do a bunch of damage to it. I think he's going to go get the health plant though, but I did deny the scouting. He was heading across the map and he was going to scout, and he actually ambushed me here, and this is game losing. This alone cost me the game. You can't lose a hedgehog like this and expect to win, and I am barely going to slip out and then have my guys try and repair it, but hedgehog AI is terrible and he's going to slide around, but I do save it. So I did manage to save it, but had I lost it, the game would have been over. I had you going that I had lost the game and this was going to be a short one, but I did manage to save it. Now he kind of knows what's going on. He saw the workers being pulled and he knows. And I do have these workers across the map, and then I'm going to go, oh, I didn't rebuild my barracks. Whoops. And so I'm going to build my barracks back at home and overcharge it. And I'm just going to kind of sit here. I'm just going to wait a second, and now that it's repaired, he's on the outside of the map. He's getting reinforcements, and I'm going to attack the creep camp. And the creeps, in an unlucky stroke, are going to surround my hedgehog, which is pretty unbelievable, honestly. I've never seen that, and of course it happens to me. So I've lost my reinforcing hedgehog here, and the push is going to be that much weaker. For the next one, since I know he's out on the map trying to intercept my units, I'm going to send it around, and you can see he almost caught it again. And I'm going to double mind game him and send it back. Meanwhile, I'm going to poke in with these ones while I can. My sentry post is almost done, and he's going to be pulling and overcharging all his workers. So I'm going to get into that corner here, nice and tight, and I'm going to be, the sentry post is going to finish. I'm going to load up a bob into it, and I'm going to be healing that. He's actually getting a better surround by cutting open the trees, and overcharged bobs do quite a bit of damage. And I only have 2 hedgehogs here because one of mine died, and the other one I had to send back because it was intercepted. If I had 4 hedgehogs here, this fight might have gone significantly different. I'm going to be trying to micro and be repairing the ones that are needed, but in the end, these are going to get full surrounded, and this push is going to completely collapse. He did lose a significant amount of mining time, and he is only going dogs, so I thought maybe I could play this out a bit more, and so I'm going to play the game out a bit more and see what I can get done. So I'm just going to keep making hedgehogs here on my economy. I am pretty far behind. He's got quite the worker count and stuff, but my tech is a bit higher, so that's what I'm hoping on winning me the game. From here, there's not much to comment on. I am going up into tier 2. That's the other thing. If I had gone for tier 2 earlier, I think maybe I could have done significantly more damage. So if I had all my hedgehogs and was tier 2, I could have shielded, I could have promoted my units. All that sort of stuff would have helped me significantly. I'm going to be going for a Vulcan push here because dogs are light, and so in theory the Vulcan will do significant damage to all the dogs, and it'll be able to kind of win us the game. I'm going to put down my other supply depot there so that I don't get supply blocked when it comes up. And I'm just kind of hanging out at home, and this is why I'm in a defensive position for this particular reason. He's got the dog upgrade. I am going to sneak those bobs out, and I'm accidentally going to promote the wrong one. And he's going to be going for my supply depots there, and he is going to catch one of my hedgehogs because all the hedgehogs do is slide around. They don't actually fight. They just slide and glide. I'm going to be trying to repair and save that hedgehog. I don't think I'm going to be able to, despite my best efforts. And he's going to snipe both of my depots. I'm just going to rebuild it. I'm going to power build that one back, and it's not a big deal. I'm going to turn it back into a solar habitat and just kind of keep getting my Vulcan out. These bobs are going to be escorting my Vulcan as well. and so I'm going to be repairing alongside. He's going to figure out what's going on, and he's going to know now what I'm up to, and so I'm just going to be pushing out across the map, and I'm pretty much committed here. You can see I pull additional workers because the likelihood of counterattack is almost 100%, and so, you know, I gotta have my workers with me when the time comes. I'm going to take the speed cap and kind of push him off of that, and the reason is I'll be able to get all my units across the map faster once I've taken that. And so there you can see. This was back when the Vulcan could push units out of the way, which was nice. And you can see what I was talking about. He just goes for the counterattack right away. I don't even have a barracks, so it doesn't matter. I fully know I'm going to lose those mobs, so I'm trying to win with just this push. I'm going to try and take down as many as I can, and I'm going to be kind of keep pushing across the map the best I can. When you get into a base trade situation, always salvage all of your buildings back at home. And I'm just going to build a random depot up in the top corner of the map in case it gets really crazy or something like that. I'm just kind of preparing. I don't know how much he's got back at home and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to break right through, straight into 2 exo turrets and like 10 exos, and it's going to die instantly. It was a real flop this game. I was actually laughing at how bad it went, and I'm just going to lose straight up. Thanks for watching.